Welcome to Are You Mad at Me? I'm Vickie Morgan.
And I'm Josh Morgan.
And this is episode 36. This is 3 dozen.
3 dozen.
3 dozen episodes. So thanks for sticking with us all this time. Lots of great things to catch up on, and we want to know what you're doing too. Tell us what's going on. How's your summer going? How you doing, Josh?
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
What do you got going on here?
I'm going to color. So first of all, we got some banana bread we just put in the oven, and
so it's going to be a quick one.
Yes, and we should probably post a recipe. It is the recipe that you get on
a bunch of bananas in Maine.
What? No, it's on Smushy Bananas. You're covering up my prop here.
Sorry. That's where I always put my arm.
Is it?
That's all right. I'll just say like this.
What's the difference? So it's man spreading if you're spreading your legs across a bus. But what is it when you're like laid back like that? I call it Larry Dallas.
It's called
Jeff
wingspanning.
Is it? You can put your... I'll talk about the sweater, and then you can be
just
comfortable.
Throw it.
You should be... a man should be comfortable in his own home. That's what I was told.
Or in the home that he's renting from someone else.
Sure. So Josh has our monitor covered up for good reason, because we don't want to be staring at ourselves. And so anyway, I made this little sweater.
We spend the whole podcast like this. So yeah, I was just going to talk about...
Oh, look, I can see
You
myself.
see your sliver of your face.
Josh designed this little Newfoundland flag, or Newfoundland map, for this little sweater.
You told me that the other day, and I don't remember doing it. Was that recently?
I mean, to be fair, I've been firing a whole lot of stuff at you, so you don't even remember most of the stuff.
Was that a recent project, though?
Within the past couple of months, yeah. So he did a little
I think
grid.
I remember putting the map on in Illustrator and putting the grid on it.
I think it's called Intarsia, Intarsia. It's like a little grid, and you can use it for...
I definitely didn't do that.
You did the grid.
I didn't do any Tarzans.
Hilarious. So anyway, it's amazing that you were not murdered.
Married.
I'd say it's a good thing you're already married. Yeah. And I just heard your fans go, that bitch.
My fans.
Yeah.
The Josh Morgan fan club.
They tune in for you. And I think for the most part, they're going, does she ever stop talking? When is he going to talk? I think is like when I watch Nateland.
Does any of this feel good right now?
I'm just observing. I'm reading the room. I'm reading what's in the ether. But like when I watch, anyway, I'm not going to. I love watching Nateland, and I wait for the parts when he's talking, and I mean, if our Roku remote wasn't so clicky and didn't make my thumb hurt, I would fast forward through other people.
If we could scrub through like you can in a video editing software and just wait till somebody's mouth stops moving and somebody else starts, yeah.
Because essentially what it comes down to is I like the advice that he's got, like the life, stories that he shares about. I think he's living an aligned life of listening to that inner guidance, and I think things are working out for him because he's being nice to himself. And I like those stories about, that he was like standing on the side of the road, barking, and wanted to do, took it all in babysit. I find his life advice, I don't know if he's planning on giving life advice. It just seems to happen. So
listen, if you're coloring, you still got to talk into the microphone.
Well, I thought it'd be a fun kind of little exercise here to not concentrate, like to not worry so much about.
I put too much milk in my coffee.
Well,
and it wasn't worth it to go make another cup.
People come here.
So every time I take a drink, I'm just going to go, ugh.
You want more coffee? We can pause this.
No, we got to do this because the banana bread's cooking.
Can we get somebody on the crew to make him some more coffee?
Somebody can run down to Tim Hortons. Give me an ice cap.
Sorry.
So we went the other night, we went for a walk with the boys, and we just happened to be down close to the Tim Hortons, and it was like
midnight.
Let's say it was just after closing time. The restaurant was still open.
It was almost time for it to open for the morning.
Tim Hortons was still open.
Yeah.
But they were only open there. Only the drive-through was open, and so, like a week ago, we walked by a different Tim Hortons late at night, just the two of us, and went and just checked the door. It was like 10:30 or 11. It was like they might still be open, so we tried the door and they weren't. So some guy in his car in the parking lot yelled at us, and he's like, "Just go through the drive-through." And I was like, "Buddy, we just walked. You saw us walk through the parking lot. We don't have a car." And he goes, "No, people just walk up to the window all the time. They do that here."
Why are we having a conversation? Stop talking to us.
Yeah. So anyway, fast forward to the other night, we were out with the boys, and we went to a different Tim Hortons, and their dining room was also closed, but the drive-through was open. So instead of walking up to the drive-through speaker or around to the window and ordering like a weirdo, this is foreshadowing because I did end up looking like a weirdo.
I told you.
I pulled out my phone.
That's what they said worked at the Harvey Road one.
I ordered on the app. I just did a pickup order on the app, and just got a few drinks for us, and then
So just pause for 1 second.
let's just get into the good part.
But I want to just. My intention was to go to the drive-through window where you order and let them know we were coming around and ask before we did it.
Where you order? You mean like at the speaker?
Yes, where you would go up and say, "Hey, I got an."
See, I feel like if we did that, they would say, "No, you need a car. Go away." But so what I did was I just ordered on the app, and then I just went over and like when there was no cars in the drive-through, I went over and knocked on the window, and he was like looked so confused and came over to the window and was like, "What?" And I said, "So I just ordered something on the app. It's these 3 drinks." And he like, They weren't ready. They didn't know there was an app order. He's like scrambling to get our drinks. And then he comes back over to the window and he's like, "Next time, bring your car." Hey, that's what he said. "Next time, bring your car." I was like, well, yeah,
so
sure.
Josh reached in through the window, dragged him up by the scruff of his Tim Hortons shirt and said, "Next time you bring your car. This is private property.
You bring your car." So, yeah, no, it was, why was I talking about that? It was just funny because it was the middle of the night. We were out with the boys and we just wanted some cold refreshing drinks.
Where were we? We were going somewhere. We're coming back from somewhere. Oh, it doesn't
I think we had just gone for a walk.
Just a late night walk.
Yeah. And then that's it. So somebody can go get me some coffee. That'd be great. Somebody in the crew here.
Right. Yes, because we do. Yeah. All right. So what are we going to talk about this week? So I got my coloring book here. Because
this week is Regatta week.
It is.
We can talk about that.
It's my favorite couple of days.
We do have listeners outside of, not only outside of St. John's and outside of Newfoundland, but outside of Canada. So I didn't have any idea what the regatta was. And in the U.S., they call them regatta. Yeah.
Well, they called it that on Dawson's Creek once, too. So we're going to go with regatta because that's the proper way to say it. And it is the oldest sporting event in all of North America. And as we always do, when the Olympics are also in town, we move it. So it's the first Wednesday in August, but when the Olympics are in town, we move it.
It's not really the Olympics. It's the Canada Games. Which is like...
what's the difference?
Well, it's like the Olympics is international, worldwide. It's a huge thing.
Canada Games? Oh,
Canada
is that
Games
all that's coming?
It's
just Canada.
But everybody around town keeps saying, "Oh, the Olympics are coming." No, the Olympics aren't here.
I just made that connection.
It's the Jeux de Canada. Like that's the Canada Games, and they got that big fish going around.
That was French, in case you're watching from other places.
Sometimes I have to translate into English in my head before I talk.
Yeah.
How do you say?
I wish I could. Oh, let's do a little test. This is what he does. Read this French on the back.
When we go out to
restaurants, if you can guess what it means with his perfect pronunciation. Energy
100% renewable. Crayola Sesusi de l'environnement el fabrique. De facon responsible les produits que vous aimez. Nailed it.
I think it's created with they're made with, that's what façon means, made with renewable resources to be more environmentally friendly.
I mean,
so it was good. It was
pretty
good.
Close.
I got some snippets of words. So what's this on the front? It's so what would normally be sharpener included, because this is a 64.
This is a high quality
box of 64 crayons.
Content, by the way.
Can you read this for me right here?
Taily crayon inclus.
That's a sharpener included. All right, last one. Made with solar power, but in French that would be
Fabrique avec l'énergie solar.
You heard it here.
So
folks.
when I was growing up,
we get a I was going to say bipolar. We get a bilingual badge now.
We get a
bilingual badge.
When I was growing up in North Carolina, everybody took either Spanish or French, and I took Spanish classes.
You had French down there?
Yeah. Huh. Some of the like fancy schools.
Oh.
But looking back, it's like Startown Elementary wasn't really like it wasn't
Beverly Hills.
It wasn't the east side
West Beverly High
of New York City. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how people would talk in Spanish class. It was like it didn't matter how far into Spanish you were, how advanced, how good at it you were. It was like, ¿Dónde está el biblioteca?
I think that's the American way. It's just to be disrespectful towards Spanish as a rule. I think that's just how the Americans are supposed to do Spanish.
I just want to say,
to show how American you are, you shouldn't pronounce things as they should be.
Sounds like you're being fancy, and
Yeah.
Somebody might laugh at you if you say it the right way. Like if you said, "Donde está la biblioteca?" Like they'd be like, "Why are you saying it like that?" Oh, like it's supposed to be like they would pronounce it in a place where they speak Spanish.
So when people, there's an exchange program here at Memorial University.
That was my Univision voice, by the way. That was a Spanish channel. Univision.
It was good. It got right past me. It was so natural. That was like
the announcer on the commercials. That's what he sounded like.
Telemundo. Remember at the laundromat when we lived in big cities and we had to use laundromats?
That was the channel.
That was the channel.
Telemundo or Univision, whatever.
Yeah,
there was
it
two
soap operas in Spanish. What was I going to say?
Esta mañana on Telemundo. I don't.
All right. Making fun of you.
We don't have anything to talk about in this episode.
Making fun of you. No, I'm just distracted. Making fun of you for pronouncing stuff properly. So I know.
Is that what happened here when kids would learn French?
Hang on. There was an exchange program at Memorial University where people would go to Ireland and people would invariably come back and start calling it Ireland. I was like, why are you saying it like that? You sound like a weirdo. And they're like, that's how it's pronounced. And then I met you and you had come back from Qatar and you were like, actually it's called Qatar. You didn't say it because you would never correct somebody else's pronunciation of something. But your stepmother said she was calling it Qatar, and I was like, "What's wrong with her?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "That's how they pronounce it." And I was like, "Well, she was a jerk anyway, so it didn't matter." But her pronunciation of Qatar was also jerky.
So,
but apparently that's how they say it over there. Is that accurate?
When I was in Qatar, we went off base when we could, and there was this great big mall, and the mall inside had like a skating rink in the first floor.
Yep.
And there was like 5 of us there, a bunch of just American airmen, and we were like, let's. I mean, it was like August in the Middle East. It was like ice.
Is that winter or summer?
That's summer. That's like hot as it was like 130 degrees Fahrenheit. It was crazy. It was like, there's some ice. Let's go skating. Like, that sounds awesome. And so anyway, we got like, they had hockey sticks and they set up nets for us and everything. There was nobody else there. It was just like us 5 of us. So then these two local people showed up. Like this dude that was massive, like bodybuilder, huge guy. He was like maybe in his mid-20s.
Yep.
And then this little guy that was like maybe 12 or 13. And it turned out that they were brothers.
Okay.
And this little guy was tiny. He was like just those little teenagers in middle school. Yes. He was one of those. He like hadn't hit a growth spurt yet. He hadn't started. But anyway, the big brother was just kind of watching while the little brother, and it turned out there was a bunch of Canadians in Qatar. Mm-hmm. There was like a consulate there or something, or school, or I guess CNA's there, but they have hockey there.
Okay.
Like they would it wasn't abnormal for these kids to know, like just like here. Like so, we're out there like just idiots. Like I'd never held a hockey stick in my life. I skated my whole life, but like just around in circles. And we're out there playing with the playing with the pucks.
Just have one skate? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We're out there just kind of playing with the sticks and the pucks and just messing around. And this kid comes out there and he's just like Mighty Ducks, like just all over. Just literally, we're playing like 5 of us against him, and he's just destroying us. And at one point I said, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "I am from Qatar, man." That's what he said.
Oh.
I'm from Qatar, man.
Qatar, man.
So anyway, that's why that's the only time I ever heard anybody actually say Qatar that was from
that's pretty authentic
the country.
Yeah. I think we could.
But it was this little 13-year-old that was skating circles around us.
But you didn't hear anybody else call it that?
I mean, I didn't have conversations with anybody that was.
But like people on the base and stuff that were over your station with, didn't someone
all
talk to
Qatar.
Locals? Really?
We didn't. Yeah.
That's what we call it at CNA.
The people that worked on the base from there weren't from there. They had third country nationals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was like people from other countries that would come and work there to raise money, like. Just like in the U.S. where people will come from like Mexico and Central America to make some money to send back to their family. That's what they have. Like it's a really rich country.
Okay.
Anyway. This has nothing to do with...
There's no point. We're just wandering around. It's fine.
It's just our weekly chat session.
Yeah. That's Ireland. So I just remember growing up, if you said something, just stop drinking it.
I want coffee. It's just not good.
It's just not good. It's just not... I forgot what I was going to say. I got to stop coloring.
Ireland. Yeah,
Ireland.
I can't
people made
hold this whole show on my back.
Yeah.
I can't carry this show.
So I'm coloring this because this is from the how to fail a guide to marketing your self-published books. This is a what do you call it? Proof copy. And I was just coloring. This is a little radio station picture that Josh made. And it's a broadcasting tower. So I thought that would get me in the spirit of what we're doing here. We're broadcasting what we want to put out to the world.
Oh, and we got the Are You Mad at Me?
AYMAM.
Hey, ma'am.
Hey, ma'am. So I'll finish that later. And
so we were doing
a
a lot of stuff with the books this week. You recorded the whole. I think that was since our last episode. You recorded How to Be a Famous Sexy Writer. You recorded the whole thing, the audiobook. And then I edited the audiobook. What's wrong? Oh,
it's okay.
Dogs.
I don't know how long it's been there.
So I edited the audiobook and it took me like 3 days, but so the audiobook for How to Be a Famous Sexy Writer is
now available.
Done. Is it available? Is it live anywhere?
It's uploaded to ACX, which is Audible. What is that? Audiobook
Creation Exchange.
That goes to Audible on Amazon, and it's also on Authors Republic, which is I stepped on. It's gross.
Just cut that foot off.
Yeah, it's useless now. So here's what I have discovered over the last few weeks.
Wait, we were talking about the audiobooks.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So what I've been working on the past couple of weeks is distribution of my books. So technically not marketing as such. I'm not doing like ads, but I did expand the distribution, which things don't need to be viral. They need to be discoverable. And so it makes more sense for my books to be in other places so people can find them.
Because up until now, everything was on Amazon. It was Amazon Audible, Amazon Kindle, Amazon paperbacks.
Yes. And so I don't know if you remember when we were doing for the first book, For the Grace of Joe, it was very labor intensive. And I feel like, I don't know what you were doing at the time.
Like for work?
Yeah.
I was working at the high school. I was teaching high school.
So I was like looking up the videos and I'd go do it and I'd, figure out the formatting and all that stuff. So I pretty much did the first one on my own. The painting, Stephen Hoke did the cover and I took the painting and I spread out the edge color and made the spine.
At this point, I had never touched Adobe Photoshop or Premiere Pro or anything. Like this was all you.
Yeah, it was all me. It was like I was doing the video editing. I was doing a public access TV show. I was doing a lot of, and I was working at I was volunteering at CHCO and doing a bunch of stuff out there and hosting and producing and all that. So it's kind of funny that everything has changed so much from then because it was all me. And we just packed up a bunch of lights that I bought. I was so proud of them. You could get stuff from Amazon back in the day. And it could be there, like if you live on the mainland, it'd be there in like a couple of days. So I would do all the research and I would go find like a lighting kit. And back then Cowboy Studio was a brand. And so I'd get like a 3-point light kit because I had just done the courses at USM and I knew how to do the stuff. And I wanted to go out and produce myself. So I had we just unpacked a bunch of light kits that we no longer need. So we're trying to get rid of those, put them on Marketplace. But back in the day, I was doing all that stuff. And
you were going to school for communications.
Yeah, that was after.
After. But you had gone to school for communication.
Yes,
so that's you were doing.
Yep. So
video
I was using
production.
all of it. Yeah. So I wanted to write a book, though.
We can't both drink at the same time.
Can you take out the slurp sound?
Slurp.
So in New Brunswick. So during the first book, it was very tedious. Hundreds of Google searches.
You were just learning how to publish.
Yeah, I didn't have a clue. I did not have a clue. I had no idea. Like, it seems like a really basic thing to me now, but like if I did it in a Word document, it didn't even occur to me that there'd be margins or it's obvious to me now, but it just seems like you just send a manuscript and I don't know how it turns into a book. But
I saw a thing on Reddit just tonight that was somebody was saying they recommend that you don't upload a PDF for an ebook on Amazon. But what happens? But what happens if you do?
You can't.
Well, they were saying that they'll allow it now. But it's they suggest that you don't. So it was like, anyway, they were like, people were like, yeah, you can. It's not going to be good. Anyway.
Okay. That
was just one of those.
I want to look it up because I uploaded ebooks like this week and I don't think that's accurate. Because it has to be reflowable. It has to be, you have to be able to manipulate the text. So I don't think so. I'm gonna double check on that, but I don't think you can put.
They could have had old information, but anyway, I was just imagining somebody uploading basically a photo of a book in an ebook, and it's like
because it's a static shape, and if they don't, the technology is not there to pull the information from your PDF and make it look like, well, anyway. So I wasn't using Google Docs, I was using Microsoft Word, and I had no idea. Like, you imagine a manuscript is like 8.5 by 11 white paper, maybe with a big staple through it, or a big paper clip, or a big alligator clip or something, and I'd never putting together that it gets formatted into a 6 by 9 or 5 by 8 or whatever size book, and at the margins, and that, in the gutter, like where the book folds, that it has to be a certain measurement in there so that it doesn't go into the fold. It needs to be reasonable, and there's all this stuff that you take for granted when you look at a book, and you just figure, I guess the publishers do that. And so I was learning it all from scratch. And so going back to that now, like, I know KDP like the back of my hand. I know, like, the little red lines don't scare me. The little error messages don't scare me, because I know exactly
You've done a lot of
how
books
to fix
in
it
there.
all. Yeah. And so when it came across my desk last week or the week before, that I don't even know how it happened. It was just it was to get on Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
When I realized that you could publish on Barnes &
And we
Noble.
talked about that last week.
Yeah. So it is possible. So Barnes & Noble is, of course, one of the bigger retailers in the United States, and you can publish on Barnes & Noble with the same files that you publish on Amazon, which is a really big deal.
That's awesome.
So apparently there are people who don't like Amazon, and having a U.S. retailer is just huge. So I sat down with all the books, which now we've gone from, I had 2 books, and I tried years ago. I did try to put it in a couple of different places, and I just got confused with the same things. I got intimidated by the tax interview and the banking information, and I didn't want to put it into a website. I couldn't quite tell if it was where I was supposed to be and stuff, so I didn't want to. And then I think once I got over that barrier, it was like, oh, this is the same information I put into KDP. It's already done. The W8BEN is already filled out. It's all the same information. The banking information, exactly the same. So I've been working my way through all those things, and it's going to take a while for me to be able to say it by rote, like to say, oh, this file needs to be this, blah, blah, blah. But I did learn it all. I was doing it all for the first time, and a lot of it is very compatible. Some of it, I was very surprised.
Between Amazon and Barnes & Noble, you mean?
So Barnes & Noble, Author Central for audiobooks, Draft to Digital, which also distributes to Ingram Spark. So little hack for authors that might be listening, or wannabe or aspiring authors. Ingram Spark charges you like $50 to upload a book.
Per book.
Yeah. And if you make changes to it, they charge
Which isn't terrible. I mean, like, if that was the only option you had, it was like $50 for a book. That's pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah.
However, if you go to Draft to Digital, they distribute to Ingram Spark. So
and Draft to Digital doesn't cost anything.
So I had a couple of there was a few little hiccups and snags that were like, what? It was so I stayed up really late, haven't slept, trying to get all of it done, really excited about it, and then you hit a road, speed bump, and it's like, oh my God, and I kind of got obsessed about it, like, no, I got to get this done. So at first, I was working with Apple, and I don't have Apple devices, so the platforms were not friendly to whatever we use, non-Apple products.
Yeah, PC and Android.
So I beat my brains out over that for hours, and then gave up and went to bed. And then the next morning was like, okay, ChatGPT, how do I get my books on Apple? It keep getting error messages, and it's not telling me, there's no code or anything. It's not telling me what's wrong. And so ChatGPT came back with a simple solution, like, why don't you try going through Draft to Digital, which I did, and now all my books are on Apple. And so then I ran into a hitch with Kobo for no reason. Like, they literally said, we're turning this book down for no reason.
We reserve the right to reject
for no
books.
reason, for any reason,
for any
or
reason.
no reason. And it was like, I didn't like that. I got to say, that kind of...
But that was for just for How to Be a Famous Sexy Writer, right? They turned that one down?
So the first 2 books went through without a hitch. And then I tried to do the brand new one, and it was just flat out rejected. And so I wrote and said, I don't understand why this was rejected. Can you tell me? And so they sent me back this generic article with like 100 different things that could be wrong, but it didn't tell me what was wrong. So before I go make any changes or whatever, so I just wrote and said, can you tell me specifically what was wrong with my book? Because I'd like for it to be on, I want to send it to, where was I sending it? Kobo. So Kobo was a big Canadian company, which really stung to me because, I mean, I'm in Canada. Like, I'm a Canadian. So
that's one of those e-reader companies like Kindle.
No, Kobo is...
Doesn't Kobo have e-readers?
Maybe.
Like Kindle readers?
I'm thinking of Nook. That's on Barnes & Noble.
Same thing, yeah.
So Kobo is like an e-reader kind of, I guess. Anyway, it's a big Canadian retailer. And, really huge right now because everybody hates the United States, apparently, which is not true. So it kind of hurt that I'm, as a Canadian, trying to publish on a Canadian platform, that I would get such a rude customer service agent. And so I said, can you tell me why? And I wasn't saucy. I know that's hard to believe, but I was not saucy. I said, I would really like to have this published on Kobo to reach, potential readers. And the email came back very curt, and it said, we reserve the right to turn a book down for no reason or any reason. And unfortunately, we will not be publishing this book. Now, I don't know why I'm reading tone into it. Because I guess there's no way to say gently, there's no way we're going to publish this book. I mean,
what if it doesn't, no
matter
really
how
meek?
sweetly I say it. This is what I mean.
Like, we won't be publishing this book.
Unfortunately, we won't be publishing this one. So it's still the same message. So I don't think, no matter how you say it, it amounts to the same thing. We're not doing it. We don't need to tell you why, and we're not going to fix it. And we're not going to give you an opportunity to fix it. And I really have absolutely no idea what. But guess what Draft to Digital distributes to? Kobo. Guess what's on Kobo?
Yeah. So now we got all these messages coming in. Your book is now live on Kobo.
So I did a little bit of research on that too, and it was like, are they going to be mad at me? Like, are they going to go take the rest of my books off when they find out that I put it on somewhere else? And it's just that there could be a persnickety little person having a bad day, and they can literally reject it for no reason, which is very disturbing.
But it is approved now.
But there was nothing wrong with the book. Like, there's nothing in there like I said, there was an article that they provided to me, and it had like 100 things that could be wrong with anybody's book. It wasn't about mine, and so that was a little bit. So
the thing now, there's the list of places where the books are live is insane. Like between Draft to Digital and all the places it distributes to, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Google Books, all that.
There's a little bit of crossover. Like, some places distribute to the same things, and so you really need to be careful because you don't want to have double listings of the same book. It's not, the prices are all going to be the same basically, but it's weird to have two different things show up. So your sales records aren't going to be attached to the book. Anyway, that's kind of tricky. So you really need to have your head on straight, which has been like, I've kept really good notes and all that stuff. So what ended up happening at this point is that all my books are on Kobo. All of them are on Barnes & Noble in ebook and print. All the audiobooks are headed to Audible and Apple and Google Play Books and all the things. It's
Authors Republic.
Authors Republic is for audiobooks, and all free. I spent $0, absolutely $0 on all of it. It was a lot of my time, but now my books are on all the platforms, and it's being distributed to like places I've never even heard of, like Baker and Taylor, and it's on Smashwords, which I've heard of, but I wouldn't have even dreamed. So you can set yourself up on every single one of those profiles individually, but and maybe I will down the road, but for now it was really easy to just upload it. Not easy because it was a lot of formatting, which I had a kind of a weird experience this week.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I don't know, it just really freaked me out. So in the process, one of the books, the first one that I ever did, for some reason, the digital world just went bloop, not for you, and I had to reformat the whole book, which normally that was the first one I did, so that would have been 2018. So my Word files, like the current Microsoft Word, won't even read the file. So trying to put it up on Google, trying to get it converted into a current version was just awful. It wasn't fun. It was tedious, and it didn't seem like it was going to work out, so it was very frustrating. And then finally got through that part, and then all the formatting was all gone to hell. It was just like there was none of it made sense. So I ended up having to go through line by line because it put paragraph markers in, it put hard returns in. It was just everywhere. So I had to go read the book over again. And then you'd think, okay, well, that's no big deal. That's just one time. But then I went to another platform and had to do the exact same thing, but to get it in a different format, to get it into an e-book format. So what ended up happening was I have reread, which I normally would not have. That is a book. And like when I come across the folder with the pictures from the hospital, I kind of don't go down that rabbit hole.
It's emotional. It's an emotional book.
It's a lot. Yeah. And I kind of go through life like I know it happened, but I don't look through the pictures. I don't, whatever. So reading through the book, was a kind of a wild experience for me this past couple of weeks doing that, because there were stories in there where it was like, first of all, I'm going to say something bold. I'm a good writer.
Oh, yes.
Now, I don't know if it's because I remember it and I know what I was thinking when I wrote it, but like reading the book as though somebody else wrote it, it's like, oh man, that's details. Like, I'm in that room. I know exactly, like I can see this and that and this thing, and it's not all the details, but it's like where you'd look and then there's that thing, and I was right back in it. And all the stories were like, I mean, that's 2018, so that's what?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Not that long ago, really. But kind of just this big chunk of time where
that's when you were writing it. But it happened 13 years ago.
That's where the time... See, again, that's where the time, like the time lapse doesn't really make sense. So reading it again, like... And so it was 5 years after it happened. And I'm using blog posts and I wrote a bunch of new chapters and all that. And then reading it again was like a time warp. It was like, you know, when the camera goes shaky and there's like squiggly lines, and I was back in the rooms with receiving flowers on Mother's Day with Joe's name on them. Don't do that for people. Like, please don't do that. Like having fights with the what do you call it? The doulas. There was a room, like there was midwives. There was a practice made up entirely of midwives. And they were the worst. They're not in business anymore. I don't know. Related. I don't
Shocking.
know. But those experiences were like, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot all this. Which is a testament to our life going well, and we don't dwell on it and stuff. But it was really, really eye-opening. And I was kind of faced with, Vickie, you should be nicer to yourself. Like, this was hard. And so, of course I'm talking to myself in a third person here. But like, of course I'd be a little gun-shy of new people and new experiences, and like this was a raw deal. Like I was, as far as testing your faith, I mean, it didn't work out, so I don't have any. So it's like, yeah, I mean, yes, I have two beautiful children, but like that's a big chunk of reality to go. I mean, I don't know. I try to get all Pollyanna every now and then, and it's like everything works out for me. Well, I mean, except that one time, and that's a pretty big time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up reading the book, and then and I just wonder sometimes if sometimes things are like when we first got our very first gig on George Street, and I got that email from Donnie Cody, and he had no idea what I was talking about. It was just like a garbled bunch of letters and numbers, and I messaged back, and I was like, "Dude, you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, what? Are you okay?" And I was like, "You emailed me." And he was like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Yeah, you did. Look, it's right here." And then he goes, "Well, that's crazy. I didn't mean to, but hey, how are you doing?" And I was like, great, and we're emailing back and forth, and then he says, "This is the craziest thing, but somebody just canceled for the summer concert series, and I was thinking about you in it for it." And I was like, oh, and we were already in touch, so it was like, that was weird. So anyway, this week, here's the weird thing. After revisiting the book, and you would think, okay, so she reread the book once, formatted it, whatever, and then for some reason, the ISBN didn't work. Because apparently back 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I tried to upload it to one of the platforms, which locked the ISBN only on that platform.
Like you started the process, but then didn't
and got scared and walked away. It was 6 or 7 years ago. And like, okay, it's whatever. It wasn't meant to be. So this time around, like, oh, the ISBN is locked. So I get in touch with customer service, and they go, no, sorry. And I was like, but it's the same book. It's active on Amazon. Why not? They're like, it's just locked. There's nothing we can do. But you can assign a new ISBN, which if I was in the U.S., that would be a problem. And it would cost me $125 to get a new ISBN. But because I have a publishing platform in Canada with my own ISBNs, I just assigned a new one. So it was funny because then there was another platform where all my formatting just went to hell again. And I was like, oh, it'd just be a couple of little things. I'll just move a couple of things around. And it was like, no, that's not. Like, I think there was one where I was trying to use a PDF, and it was a different platform. I'd have to go back and check the notes to see what it was. But I ended up having to read the book again. And so
at least twice all the way through again?
And then when I'd make a change, I'd go through and stuff would move. So I had to go through again, line by line by line. And so I was doing like the first 8 or 9 chapters, and I'd notice something out of place, and I'd go back and fix it and whatever. So I've read that book about 15 times in the past couple of weeks, and it was like, listen, it was like something knocking on the door going, you need to hear this. So you kind of, sometimes I kind of decide to trust the process and go, oh, great, maybe there's something in this that's going to give me some insight. I was kind of hesitant to believe that because I was like, come on, Vickie, this is whatever. It's just whatever. You're trying to put your books in a different place. It's not that profound. Okay. So I get this, I'm on the phone. We're walking, it's broad daylight. We're walking down the sidewalk. The kids are walking ahead. Josh is walking ahead and I'm on a call and Peter just falls into step beside me. And so the woman that I'm talking to happens to be a psychic medium. And she said she's interested in publishing a book, and she had a bunch of questions. And she said, I don't know if you're into this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I mean, Tina Madigan's book has a whole bunch of stuff in there about being a medium and runes and different, spiritual kind of that sort of, what do you call it? Metaphysical kind of stuff. So I'm open to anything, especially when it's a publishing thing. I don't care what you're into. I mean, everybody deserves a platform. So as we're talking, she's very excited and I'm very excited. And she's telling me about our book that's been coming together for the last few years. And she said, Vickie, like I kind of see people's, energies and stuff sometimes. And she said, so like, when we meet, I could very well say, that I see your Uncle Joe walking next to you. And like the hair stood up on my arms and all up the back of my neck.
What'd you say?
And I went, what? And so it was funny because you guys were all walking ahead of me. And for some reason, the moment she said it, Peter fell in the step next to me. And I'm like, because this is in the book. This is in the first book. I did go see a medium with a bunch of other lost moms back in the day when we were all, destitute. We were just looking for something to cling to, like some kind of message from beyond that our babies were okay. Because we were all, we were traumatized. All of us. It was a room full of women who were just devastated and really having trouble getting back into regular life. And so, someone mentioned, like, let's go see this psychic medium. And we all went individually. And the funny thing was, we all came back from that lady with the same exact story, where she said,
really?
I never say this to people. But she told us all the same story.
Wow.
And it was like...
She wasn't banking on you comparing notes?
No, she had no idea we were connected. And she also didn't know I was pregnant. And I was like 4 months pregnant, I think, at the time with Peter, which I thought a psychic medium would probably pick up on. So, but
there was 2 people in the room instead of just 1?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big one. So she said back then, sometimes people believe that when they get pregnant right away after a loss, that is the same baby coming through, like tried again. And it's the same, so you don't need to mourn your first baby because whatever, it's coming through again. But this psychic medium was very, very specific. This was 12 years ago. Very specific. This is not your baby trying to come. I said, you didn't notice I was pregnant? And she was like, oh. And then she, pretended she did. And she said, this is not Joe. This baby that you're having right now, this is not Joe coming through. And then she thought Joe was a girl. And I was like, you're a cuckoo head. So fast forward, it's 11 years later.
There might be real psychics in the world, but this ain't one.
This was not one of them. No. So we're walking down the road and I'm on the phone with this lady. This is current day, a couple of days ago. And my family's walking ahead of me and I'm on a call talking to this lady about publishing and what next steps are for her. And Peter, for some reason, just starts walking beside me at the exact moment that this woman said, your Uncle Joe is walking beside you. And now I didn't tell her I was walking. She had no idea that I was outside or moving at all. So I know there'd be a skeptical person say, well, she could probably hear you breathing or she could hear the wind or whatever. Like, okay. And obviously Peter is not Joe. I get all that. But I just felt like I walked over a barrel of dimes. It was like, wait, what? Hold it. And I said, it's not my uncle. Joe's my son. And she said, well, whatever his relationship is to you, he's standing next to you. Now, at this point, I had stopped walking. And she said, he's standing there beside you. We're on the phone. And the funny, I had called her on her cell phone. And she said, I have very bad signal here. Can you call me on a landline? Which, if you're into it, there's something about that. Like the landlines are a little tiny. I don't know. It's not the first time I've had an experience like that where somebody told me something without me asking or prompting. Or There was a lady years and years ago, I was at a Christmas party and my friend's friend of a friend was telling me that her mom had started doing mediumship work and stopped doing it because she would come down with these terrible colds and sinus infections and stuff after she did a reading. So she stopped doing it. Wow. So later in the evening, we're just all sitting around talking and joking around and all that stuff. And she gets a call from her mom and she said, I have a message I think I had just put a song out and she told her mom that she was there with me.
Yep.
Jimmy and Glenn had just come out. And the mom called this girl at the party, and she said, I have a message for your friend Vickie. And I was like, crazy. That's like, I don't want to go to a medium. I don't want to pay a medium because that seems a little, participating in it and desperate. Like, I don't want somebody to feed off my need for comfort. So when somebody spontaneously volunteers it, it's like, all right, that's a little, I feel like that's seeing a butterfly, that's seeing two crows, that's seeing a dime on the ground. Like, anyway, it was a moment. And after reading the book and revisiting that person that I was and still am, I don't think about it. Like, it's there all the time, obviously, but it just doesn't, it's just not something that's top of mind for me all the time.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of nice to read it and go, this is a really well done book. And I don't know why I've been so, like, I kind of figured when the ISBN was rejected by a couple of different platforms, I thought maybe I shouldn't be telling the story. Like, maybe this is meant to be not, like, maybe it's on Amazon and that's where it should be, and, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And there was just something about it that, like, after reading it that many times, like, I kind of fell in love with the book.
That's really good.
Because they were really, like, I was thinking, who would this help? And I don't know. I know if I found a book while I was in Maine being bullied by the pediatric cardiologist or by the, and I mean, there was lots of really, really great people too. We had lots of good people that we came across that were so wonderful, but there were jerks. And if I knew when I was going to USM that Dennis Gilbert, for example, was a kind of a gross pig with other people he was advising at USM at the time, or if like the teacher you had that told you your cancer was convenient and didn't want to give you an exam deferral so you could get cancer surgery. It was just bizarre stuff, and like it would have helped me then. So I don't know. Right. Is there anybody going to USM right now that's having a hard time? That's
exactly it. That's kind of why you. I mean, that wasn't the main reason you wrote it, but I think that was a big thing that it could be there for somebody that needs it.
Yeah. I don't know. I wrote it because it made me feel better. Yeah. I know there was a guy, like, I know going through the Disability Services office at USM was a nightmare, and they were horrible. So, but like someone struggling to go through university now at USM, for example, if I found out that there was a book or someone had graduated and gone on to be successful, but had a hard time with USM and they weren't exactly proud of their alumni. They're not like, they send me letters asking us for money, but they're not like bragging that I went there.
They're not beating our doors down.
No, but I think there were, like, it would have helped me back then. So I don't know. And it's not like, it wasn't like, oh, I feel like this is going to help lots of people. It helped me to write it. I know that. It helped to get it out. It helped to get some perspective. And even now, all these years later, like, I think it's nice to, like, send a little bit of love back to that person, the people that we were going through that when we were so scared and so alone. And that was why I would tell somebody to write a book. Like, it's not about selling lots of copies. It's not about all that stuff. It's like, if that's a story that Jesus laid on your heart to write, then, there's something. I don't have an explanation. I don't have all those answers. I don't know why. I know it felt better. It was one of those things that kind of nagged at me until I wrote it down, and it felt better to get it down on paper, and it felt really good to get the book in my hand. I love doing signings. I love when people feel comfortable telling me their stories because they read mine. Anyway, it's been an experience. So I did, after all those promises to play bigger, it's on a lot of platforms. So there's a lot of places now where it could be found. And
we got paperbacks and ebooks and audiobooks that are the ones that are available. They're all.
That's not even all the new ones.
Becoming live.
These are just the first. That was the first three. So, and we are moving forward with the. Let me start that over again because that wasn't nearly as excited as I'd like to be. What I have decided to do instead of running ads or a marketing campaign or anything like that, it's to start a public access show where we interview.
Which is a marketing campaign. I mean, essentially, it's meant to market.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, in that case, like, is Seth Meyers marketing?
Yes.
Who? He's not marketing him?
Yes, sure he is.
You think?
He's making an hour of content every weeknight, to talk about himself.
And also, that way, everything's marketing.
Right?
Okay. So the intention is that I don't like doing marketing work, and I would rather be the producer and host of a TV show. And so that's the goal. That's the plan, is to interview authors from around the United States. with a Canadian segment and maybe a UK segment. Like there could be authors from pretty much anywhere, but the goal, like the focus is going to be on American writers, because I'm also American, and it will, so the idea, it's the same when we had our radio show and we promoted our own music and also gave a platform to other musicians. It's exactly the same premise, but it'll be writers who are self-published, who want to come on and talk about their book, talk about what they're working on, and also tell us a nice fail story, like how they failed at something or how something didn't go quite the way they wanted. And it'll be very human, because people are more inclined to buy your book if they get to know you a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
That's just, of all
and using your book as a business card has been a big thing.
That's a tag on Pinterest now. Business card book.
Business card book.
Yeah. So I guess it's catching on. But it's, what was I going to say? I don't remember. It's gone. I was just thinking about, I saw somebody, I was watching a video on YouTube earlier today, and the guy kept twitching. He kept like scratching his head and adjusting his glasses and scratching and stuff. And it was like, oh my God, I do that too. So I'm trying not to, but I probably did it a lot. So can you do a clip show where it's like just me scratching, fixing my hair constantly? What were you talking about? There was somewhere we were headed with that, with the, the TV show.
Yep.
So I did post it on a few
Facebook groups.
Writing support groups, and I went and followed a whole bunch of bookstores, independent bookstores. So they're also, I'm noticing that there's a little bit of a thing between the big bookstores and the little bookstores. And I don't know if it's going to go against me to have my books on the big platforms, but it's being distributed to all the little indie bookstores as well.
That's what I was talking about last week. Like the writers that everybody knows, the big New York Times bestsellers, you look for their books anywhere and you'll find it. Like anywhere that sells books, it's not like they'll be like, I'm only on Amazon. They're putting them out there in front of as many people as possible, and
availability.
Wherever they have books, that's where you'll find it.
So the goal is discoverability, not necessarily anything that's going to go viral or anything like that. So it's really, putting all that work into what you put on the back of the book and what you put in the description on the listing and whatever, like posting it on Facebook and saying, hey, I just republished a book. It's all marketing. Anytime somebody learns about your book that didn't know about it before, that's awareness. Like that's building your brand, that's letting people know that it exists and whatever, building a brand. Good luck. Did you hear that? Did you hear what I just said?
You're marketing.
But it is, what I want to be doing is not, here's where I think I'm going to redefine. I want to host a show. I want to produce a TV show. Like if people buy the book because they're watching it, awesome. But it's having that umbrella to walk out into the rainstorm with, and not get hit by lightning or anything, but like having the umbrella that will like, look, here's my pass. I am here because I'm doing a show and I'm giving other authors a platform. Yes, somebody could come back and say, well, you're just trying to do, someone said to you on a Reddit thread today, that's just self-promotion. Like, dude, if you don't realize that we're all doing that, what field did you think you were coming onto?
Yeah. Like,
of course, you're in a self-published group on Reddit. What do you, whatever. Yeah. Angry people just, I don't know. I realize I'm angry when I'm saying that, but the idea is that the next thing for me would be I would like to produce a show. And with the intention that the next season be on the road, in the RV, and we're going to meet people in person, and not just one person, because they could be serial killers. I don't know. Like, I don't want to do I don't want to be the next, I wanted my own Netflix special, but not because I was murdered by a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the next Craigslist victim. Mm-hmm. So the idea maybe would be to have people to partner with in each state where we could do an open book night and invite local people and like build a community, because self-publishing is, it's a viable thing. And seeing that book, I thought self-published would be like, short press, like a short run, you publish 100 books and you sell them to your friends and family,
like
and
it doesn't zine.
Exactly. Yeah. But like when it's available on major platforms, that's real.
And having a network of other writers that's supportive and encouraging and, helping you instead of like, I don't know. There's some communities out there of artists that are, you have a hard time.
You were telling me about a Reddit post earlier tonight that someone said, I just finished publishing a book and my husband doesn't think I should do a launch because it's only self-published.
Yeah. Then later on down the post, she also said, my husband hasn't read my book because fantasy isn't his thing. It's like, seriously, he's your husband. Read the lady's book. Anyway.
Thank you. That should be a PSA, a public service announcement from a good husband.
Listen, are we gonna do final thoughts? Because the banana bread's almost done.
What are final thoughts?
We have Regatta week this week, so tomorrow's Regatta Eve, so we get to go walk around the lake and get
guess
food.
Who's playing? The Masterless Men.
Masterless Men, some Irish music. It's gonna be
favorite.
awesome. And then Wednesday is the Regatta, so the boat races. And Sparky, you're
He's snoring.
You're choking
Come here,
yourself.
buddy. Come on, bud. You okay?
So Wednesday is the Regatta.
Sometimes he just stops breathing.
Yeah.
It's very charming.
And then Thursday. All right. We got a reverse sneeze happening here.
We call it a snarf.
Thursday is your speaking engagement.
Marketing meetup with Hey Orca.
Marketing on a budget.
It is completely it's not sold out because it's a free event, but the registration, there's 100 people registered. There's a huge wait list, and it's going to be very, very exciting. I can't wait. There is a lady going to be there.
I didn't register. Do you think you get a +1?
You can use mine because I registered before I was
use your
a guest.
registration.
As soon as the last one ended, I registered for the next one. There's a lady going to be there who is also on the panel with me, and she posted on LinkedIn the other day. She said, I went from a $13 million budget to 0. And so I thought I'd be a little out of place not spending any money on marketing, but it's going to be the vibe.
The topic is marketing on a budget. So
not 0, though. I thought I'd be like out to lunch.
Well, on a budget usually means you don't have much money. Like you're budgeting. Like
not
a multi-million-dollar budget isn't like on a budget. I took that to mean like you don't have much money.
How low can you go?
What are you going to do for free? What are you going to do for cheap?
I didn't take it so I was kind of nervous, like I'm not going to think about it, but I just figured,
no, that's
it'll be
right.
fine.
That's right up our alley. That's what we've been doing.
I don't know about the other lady who's going to be there, but they both sent me friend requests on LinkedIn or connection requests, which is very cool. And so I've been getting all these like behind the scenes emails from Joe, like Joe from Hey Orca. And I also graduated from St. Joe's, so I mean he's everywhere. But like the behind the scenes, like here's how many people we got registered. Here's a list of questions, and I really like being on the planning part of it. Like on that end of it is just really fun. Being in the production end of it, of seeing it come together and planning for it, and like planning the user experience is really fun. And so I think for me, the whole self-publishing world is similar to producing a TV show. It's being in charge. You get to decide who's going to be on your crew. You decide like no meanies, no chauvinists, no bullies. Right. Like you really get to pick who's in the room.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And to be able to make creative stuff where you determine who the people are. So like there's this, I set up a Google form to ask a bunch of questions of potential guests and stuff, and it's a screening process.
For the podcast.
It's like if somebody is, somebody gets in touch and they're like aggressive or mean or short-tempered or, entitled and that kind of stuff. But I don't think they're going to come anywhere near us. But there is a form there where there's a little process, like apply to be on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you, and I'll get a chance to like check you out. And
so we can also talk about we did start a group on Facebook called Famous Sexy Writers Club.
Yep.
And that's going to be where we're that's going to be our home base for the public access podcast show.
Yeah. It's a public access television show.
Find it on Facebook.
So there's a few people on some of the writing groups that were like, "Oh, this could be a good podcast." Like, no. It's a public access TV show. And if the material ends up on YouTube or something like that after, but TV coverage is a very big deal. And my friend Donnie Cody told me that. He's a host of Out of the Fog. And he said any opportunity to be on television, to be front and center as a host, representing what you do and interviewing people, take it, no matter what. Yeah. And so, I don't know if you noticed or not, but nobody's beaten my door down to host a TV show. So I just made one up.
That's right.
And luckily, because I'm as old as I am and I've done lots of things, I have a Peg Media account. And because I was and continue to be a public access creator. And so making the show, it's kind of fun because I've already connected with people in Maryland and Delaware and Wilmington, North Carolina.
Right.
So there's been a bunch of writers already that are walking the walk and self-publishing and learn like lots of marketing advice, lots of life experiences, and just really fun. Just really, really fun. Already, the connections are all, and the internet is doing its magical thing that it does. It's bringing people together with common interests, and it's really fun.
It's exciting.
So I'm excited, and that's the next thing. So it's under the umbrella of self-publishing, but like let's be realistic, producing a show is very far removed from writing a book. Now I think I'm still going to write, but as far as the production part of it, it's like I'd like to move on to a show. Like that would be if somebody came and knocked on the door tomorrow and said, "Would you like to host a show on Rogers or Eastlink or whatever?" I'd be there in a heartbeat. It'd be great to have a crew that could help out with stuff. But in the meantime, let's just self-publish.
We'll do our own thing.
Let's just do our own thing, and because it still counts, it's still fun, and it is going to give a platform to lots of people. And so, public access is one of those unique things where people have it on in the background in their homes. Like people of a certain age, we used to have it on because our shows were on there, but it's on a lot, and there's lots of people involved. Like the volunteers are there, the community producers watch because their shows are on, and if they come across a program about publishing a book and they don't know how to do that, that's my market. The people who want to have something to say and don't necessarily know what to do when the manuscript is finished.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a huge market, and I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for people to talk about what they're working on, what they've done already, and maybe some funny little, fail stories that people can joke about.
Famous Sexy Writers Club on Facebook.
Well, we're all famous sexy writers.
Follow along.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And so we did that's rolling out. I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about the Regatta because the Mashless men are playing, and
Your
the boys.
engagement.
So that's the Regatta Eve. That's my favorite night of the year. And then Regatta is also the most fun. We love the Regatta. It's chaos. It's like 40 or 50,000 people at Lakeside at Kitty Vitty.
Yeah, pretty bonkers.
There's also races, like nobody cares, but there's like people out on row. Like
there's a small percentage of people there that care about the races, but most people are there just to hang out and
It's
party.
an actual regatta where there's like boat races, and people train for it, and people are so intense. They train intensely, and it's like a little, like real, motivational, like they're all very close and all that stuff. And there's lots of people show up to watch them. So if I walk by the boat house after, or like, during while the races are going on, I will see a lot of people from my high school, which I'm going to a high school reunion in August. So I'll just get it over with now on Wednesday and see them all down there. And because it's always the same, they've been rowing since we were teenagers. I didn't know how to swim, so I'd never even considered getting in a boat because that's the test. To be a rower, they make you jump in, like they make you get in the pond and get back in the boat. Yeah. And I was like, not a chance. Right. Because, I would be dead at the bottom of the lake. Because I don't know if they'll fish out, but I wasn't going to take water in. I don't know if the test, I think it might have been in Mundy Pond. It might have been Kitty Vitty, but either one of them's not that clean. I'm not getting in there by choice so that I can row. You get nice jackets and you get matching splash suits and all that stuff. But anyway, there's lots of games of chance. There's lots of fundraising stuff going on, and there's lots of food trucks, which we love. The food trucks have evolved over the years. There used to be like a few hot dog stands, maybe a candy apple. The gourmet food trucks, like Blue on Water, will be there. Johnny and May's, Keats. What's the one we love? Ziggy's is there. Tim Hortons was there for Regatta Eve last year, giving out free drinks.
Last year we the Domino's tent.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, I think it was the end of the day, and they were like, you can have one of these pizzas for $5. It was like a whole large pizza, and we just sat down, and the four of us just eating the whole pizza. We just sat down in the grass and ate a whole pizza. It was awesome. It was so much fun. Like, that's the stuff that the boys are going to remember forever. Yeah. I have a Regatta memory where I was 10 years old, and my mother was there with my little brother, Glenn, and I got lost. We got separated. She gave me $10, and I said, "What's this for?" And she said, "Whatever you want." And I said, "I can spend this on whatever I want." Now, $10 was a lot back then, and I was very excited. And I said, "I can really spend it on whatever I want." And she went, "Of course." And I just took that to mean go out and discover the world, 10-year-old. And so she turns around. She had a 2-year-old with her in a stroller, and Vickie just disappeared. And so I got brought home by the police. That's what I eventually. Yep, that was pretty fun. Maybe it was 11, but anyway, I still loved a Regatta. It's still like but I remember that whole scene every year, and when I see the police going by and patrolling and stuff, like, "Hey, thanks, a little tip of the hat, thanks for taking care of me." And they're like, "Who is this person waving?" She probably likes Law and Order or something. So we're going to the Regatta. No kids are going to get lost. We're all going to be having a good time this week. Having a good time. Yeah, it's going to be a laugh, and so it is Regatta Eve has become my favorite of the summer. The George Street Festival has gotten really, really big, and it's just not but the Regatta Eve, like, a lot of people have kind of caught on to it, that if you go down the night before, there's a whole lot of the booths are sort of set up. There might be a few spins on the food trucks. What do you call them? The Crown and Anchor wheel, or there's food trucks, and they started doing concerts down there the last few years. Yep. I don't know how long that's been going on, but like the Irish Descendants and Shekinah and the Masterless Men are going to be playing on Wednesday, so that's going to be fun. No, sorry, that's on Wednesday. Tuesday.
Tuesday. So by the time you hear this, it'll already be over.
Yeah.
But you can go next year. So I love it. And that was the thing that I missed when we lived away. So I'm just really happy that we get to do that this year. And I love Regatta. I really, really do. And it's usually like so hot. The lake looks different with 50,000 people swarming around it. It's like ants on an anthill. Anyway, banana bread should be almost ready.
Yeah, we got to go get our banana bread out of the oven.
Any final thoughts?
That's episode 36.
Any final thoughts from you?
No. Go finish your book and we'll publish it for you.
Yes, keep writing. That's the thing. That's the advice, is keep writing and get the book written, and then don't worry about the rest of it. It'll happen. You know people who will help you do the next steps, and it's going to be really fun. It's going to be like freaking awesome. And writing is I love writing, and I'm really looking forward to producing the next thing under the umbrella of self-publishing, and then I would imagine that'll be fun until maybe the next season we could go out and do a thing on the road, and we'd have all these people to connect with and meet them out there and all that stuff. And then it's just like, it seems like that's the path forward that showed up for me, and I'm really glad that I saw through the self-publishing stuff with the books and all the manuals, and as tired as I got, it paid off. It's really paying off, and I can see what's next for us, and like I can see so much for you as well with the graphic design and all the stuff that you do. Like I can see us working remotely, and
got a lot of good stuff
it's
going
coming
on
together like as it always does. So I'm excited about all that stuff. So anyway, thanks for listening. As always, be safe, and hope you're enjoying your summer. Let us know what you're doing. We love to get updates and feedback to hear that you're listening. And I want to do a shout out to Nicole Kiley. Check out her blogcast. It is so cute. It is so
it's really
friggin' cute.
It's really good.
It's adorable, and she's done a couple of little things, and I'm really trying to not copy everything she does, but oh my god, she had some great little ideas. I don't know what I'm saying.
What's the name of the blogcast?
It's on her page, Word of Mouth Marketing.
Word of Mouth
And she's
marketing.
having so much fun. She just like a fish to water. She's so good at it, and it's just the marketing. It's just so innate in her, and I just love watching what she's doing because it's brilliant. So anyway, check her out. Check out Word of Mouth Marketing, and also check out Blaine's Family Research. Blaine's been doing a lot of stuff this summer. He's doing a lot of research back into Josh's side of the family, and he's got some specials going on too. So if that's something that you have a person that's hard to shop for or something, that's a really thoughtful gift, because people like the stuff you find out about your ancestors is pretty fantastic, and Blaine's wonderful. So thanks everybody for listening, and Vickie Morgan.
I'm Josh Morgan.
Thanks so much.
We'll see you next week.